Happy Gemini season and welcome back to my channel. The OGs know this is where we talk about the synastry tea all day, and we haven't been here in a while, but we're back. We're gonna finish the sun overlays and I'm coming out with 2 videos in a row. We're gonna be doing sun in the 2nd house today, and at some point when I'm done editing we're gonna put out the sun in the 3rd house synastry overlay. Okay, I know there's been people who asked for sun in the 2nd house like over a month ago. I literally can't believe that the time has gone that fast, but we're here and hopefully this reaches you at the very moment that you need to hear it. So no further delay, let's talk about sun in the 2nd house synastry. Out of the sun overlays, look, this is one of my favorites. It is a little surprising. I feel like you don't really expect much from a sun in the 2nd house overlay other than maybe like you give me money, you provide for me, which very possible, but let's break it down. This one I feel like is giving princess dragon slayer vibes. That's the couple pairing, that's the couple dynamic. It's a very knight in shining armor. The sun person in this case is usually a little rugged, a little rough on the edges, maybe a tradie, you know, someone good with their hands, electrician, carpenter, or they're in some kind of family business. Something I've noticed too is like the sun person might be like a junior or the second, you know, to like their father. But what I'm really trying to get at is that the sun person is someone who's a hard worker in this couple dynamic. The house person on the opposite end has not worked a day in their life. It's princess energy. Even if they were growing up in a family household where the parents did struggle, it's like they never knew about it. They were always able to open the fridge and there was food. In a sense, the sacrifices that the people who raised them had to make were hidden from them, and so they do have that silver spoon attitude towards life. It could be in another scenario that the sun person in this dynamic is from a broken home versus the house person who would have a 2-parent household or just more stability. Essentially in these couple dynamics, there's always this role of one person who was provided for and the other person who had to learn from early how to provide for themselves. This is part of what you guys will have to learn about life in this relationship together in this synastry overlay. The sun person is definitely who the house person's like parents and guardians warned them about. It is a little bad boy energy, which we stan. Not like bad, like actually bad, but you know, you just got a little swag to you. But there could be conflict the other way around too, where the sun person is like, don't hang out with that rich bitch. You know, they don't know what life is really like, and they're gonna lead you down a path when you're supposed to be focusing on your studies. You know, the parents of the sun person feel like the house person doesn't understand struggle, and they don't want their attitude rubbing off to the sun person. There's very much a worry that on the outside looking into this relationship, that one person, usually the sun person, is gonna get left behind as the other chases their dreams. That's just on the outside looking in, but within the union, it's very not Romeo and Juliet, because I feel like that's a little bit obsessive, but you guys are very attracted to each other because of this element that everyone else is worried about. You're attracted to the fact that they are on the other side of the lines, and you want to explore what that side of life is like. Oh, you know what it's like? If you guys have watched Outer Banks, it's very Sarah and John B. Like, that's like the perfect, I feel like, comparison for this overlay. So it's not exactly like there's a savior complex, but there is this fantasy where it's like, wow, we actually really do get along, and for so long society has kept us on different boundaries as if we're so different, but we're all the same. And what's really the same is our love for each other. So we're gonna make it work no matter it's dramatic, no matter what anyone else said, we're gonna pull through. In this dynamic, the house person wants to spread their wings into the world, and the sun person is very protective because they know, you know, the harsh elements that are out there. The house person can kind of take advantage of this. They can feel a little bit more confident in the fact that they have someone who's already been on the other side to catch them when they fall, if they fall. And so the house person can get a little reckless, which sometimes annoying for the sun person because it's like they're going behind the house person, having to clean up their react. But for the most part, it's very supportive. The sun person wants the house person to achieve all they want and see whatever they want to see. So they do take care of them, but for the most part, it is with a smile on their face. I will say though, with Mars in the second house overlay, the Mars person is also protective of the house person, but it's very sexy. Like, very appealing. But the house person in the sun in second house overlay, even though the sun person is happy to support, the house person can feel when the sun person is a little annoyed, and they can be annoyed when they get protective or tell them to slow down or have caution. They don't see it as supportive. They see it as them wanting to hold them back in some way, you know? That's part of the naivete of the house person in this dynamic. At times, the house person can even feel like it's condescending, like, oh, you don't think I know enough? You don't think I can do this? Whole time, they really can't. But, you know, each person on each end lives and learns in this relationship. The sun person learns that the house person is going to do whatever they want regardless, so they shouldn't even bother to say anything. Just be there, just be present. And the house person will learn, like, okay, maybe I should listen to the sun person because their knowledge is vital to my success, to our success. I feel like if you have this overlay with your child or with a parent, this is one where if the sun person is the parent, they'll be like, do this, be obedient because I said so. That can definitely come up in that type of relationship, but it's gonna end up the same way, where if you try to be that over cautionary and control the house person's actions, it's just gonna create a more rebellious child. That's that element where the house person they just like to rebel against the sun person, but in a way that's also part of the charm. They like a little friction. But yeah, this is a very caring dynamic. The sun person will take care of the house person in every way, financially, in sickness and in health. This is the kind of person who, like, if you vomit on them, they're fine to clean it up. Like, they will take care of you in your lowest moments. And you know, you definitely build a super deep bond from seeing each other in that, but still also not resorting to pitying that person. It just makes you feel closer as like a soul connection. But yeah, it's just nice to know that with this overlay, they're in it for the long haul. The sun person can get a taste for the finer things of life when they're dealing with the house person. It definitely motivates them to level up. They also bring their financial knowledge on how to save and grow this material wealth to the dynamic. So these people can make a lot of money together once they get it together. And I just want to double back for a second. When I say that this is a couple that's committed for the long haul, that's not to say that every person that you meet where their sun falls in your second house, that it's going to be a long-lasting relationship. But it's in the sense where once you have that commitment, even if the relationship evolves to where you're not in a romantic setting anymore, this is one where you can definitely stay friends afterwards, and one where you'll always have that level of care that you reached for them in the relationship out of it as well. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. The house person definitely raises their standard once they realize what it's like being in a relationship with this person, because it's just, you're not finding more loyalty, you're not finding more security than in this overlay. There's just lots of words of affirmation here, lots of attention, lots of reassurance. You never feel alone. It's always feeling like a partnership. You guys are always walking in step with one another. And within the relationship, it's just like very swoon, because the sun person is always like, no matter what obstacles, I'll always be there for you. And that's just like, oh my god. But yeah, that's essentially the energy for sun in the second house. That's all I have. Thank you for your patience. I'd love to know what you think. Leave your feedback in the comments, and I'll catch you at the next one. Bye.